All right, hello everybody. Steve Politi, Brian Fonseca here at Tracy Mike's Arena. 78-60 loss to Purdue for the Scarlet Knights. And I will say this, the scene that caught my eye, it's about 4:16 left in the game. Purdue dunked, Steve Pikiell called a timeout, and everybody in this building left. It felt like not only the end of this game, it felt like the end of the season in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of exemplary of what is happening here, right? Like Rutgers cuts it to 5. Rutgers starts off terribly. They managed to cut it to 5 in the second half. There's some juice in this building. This place comes alive for the first time. They come out of the timeout and immediately give up an 11-2 run. They get outscored 22-9 the rest of the way. And there's really no sense of this team figuring it out, especially defensively, because that was what killed them tonight. I mean, they gave up 78 points, despite the fact Purdue went 4 of 24 on threes, and I think 8 of 16 on free throws. Imagine if they hit those wide open shots that they're getting, along with knocking down all the open layups and dunks they got. This could have been a laugher.
I think it concerned me, and I think it also concerns Steve Pikiell, the way this team started this game. You couldn't be higher. Need, the building's jammed. You got to win it. You know you got to win it. You go out there and you have like 10 turnovers in the first 13 possessions or something crazy like that.
9 of 13.
9 of 13. Throwing the ball around, giving up baskets. I mean, it's just the effort's not there, and that to me is the hallmark of a Steve Pikiell team. Like if you don't have that effort, if you don't have that toughness, that's the stuff that's missing from this team. To me, it's just jarring.
I asked Matt Painter about this 2 years ago. He came here, I believe it was 2 years ago, and said that if he's going to war, he's picking up the guys from Jersey, the cats from Jersey. And he said they still have it in this team, but I just think it's not there, right?
Just being nice, yeah.
I think he's speaking publicly in front of cameras. Of course he's going to say that, but it's very evidently not there. And I think that's not why you win games, but I think it's clearly one of the many reasons why they're not winning these games, because this is the best offense they've had. At least they have the 2 best offensive players they've ever had by miles, right? And they're scoring points at a high level. At least those 2 are. And they're just losing games because they can't guard anybody. And it's not even just being out of position, which they are way too often. But to your point, like they're not really boxing guys out for rebounds. They're not scrapping. They're not
knocking someone on the floor occasionally, not diving on the ground. Yeah, and I will say this, and let's the other thing Matt Painter kept on driving the point home was that this is not a full strength team. He has coached Dylan Harper. He knows how good Dylan Harper is. That was not Dylan Harper, he said. I think it's important that we remember that. He's still not 100%. I don't know if, it's the worst flu that anybody's ever had, I guess. But clearly he did not look like a normal player. Keep that in mind. That said, he was out there. Like, he played, and that's all you can kind of judge it on in some ways. They needed to win. They didn't get it.
He played 28 minutes, right? And again, he was nowhere close to 100%. But he's not the reason they're giving up layups and dunks at will, right? And it can't be this issue that's been all season where you're so focused or so dependent on 2 guys. Yeah. That's what kills this team is they have nobody. Tyson Acuff and Dylan Grant stepped up against Wisconsin. That wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. They were a little not as efficient today, but they did have a decent game, right? But they need people to step up. But the issue is that the offense is so focused on getting Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey the ball in advantageous positions and having them create when they're not there to do that. There's no other option. There's no off-ball movement. There's no created open shots for PJ Hayes, and there's just nothing there. So today, the reason they lost was because they couldn't score enough, and also because they couldn't guard anybody.
Right, yeah. Brad Wachtel put them on life support after the Wisconsin loss. He pulled the plug tonight. I think that's where it's at. Like, I don't think fans should spend a lot of time worrying about how this team gets in the NCAA tournament right now. I think they should worry about it not becoming just an absolute embarrassment in the other direction. Like, I just want to see this team play somewhere near the level of its potential. Forget March. Just see a team getting out there, winning some of these home games, getting to a position where people, turn the other way, where they're not staring at it like, holy crap, what happened in New Jersey? Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is that an overreaction?
No, not at all. I think really we've joked about this, but the number one goal now is to make the Big Ten tournament, to give yourself a chance to have a magical March and win a bunch of games and be the NC State team that everyone hopes this Rutgers team will become. You have this magical run, right? Improbable, but you have to at least get yourself in there in the top 15 in the Big Ten. Remember before the season when Blue Ribbon said Rutgers would be 15 and people were going nuts? Now that seems like it was a bit generous. Right. But anyway, that should be the number one goal. There is mathematically a scenario where Rutgers makes the tournament. They have 8 straight quad 1 games. If they win 8 straight games, they're going to be right back in the NCAA tournament conversation. The issue is the way they've been playing recently, including tonight. I'm not sure they can win 1 more game, let alone 8. And I think to the fans, I think to that scene, I just can't imagine the disappointment they must feel watching this, the desperation, the mix of emotions that nobody, I mean, like you said this, could we have seen scenarios where things go off the rails? Yeah. January 9th?
January 9th, I did not. There was no scenario where I could imagine that. Let's sign off there. This Ace Bailey getting chased around by a 6-year-old kid. Kind of funny. But yeah, we'll be back.
He hasn't lost his joy.
He hasn't lost his joy. Thank goodness for that. And he'll still be here. And maybe, who knows? Who knows? Thanks for watching.
Not sure how to sign off.
Yeah, exactly.